Okay, just give me 1 second here, and I will just start this live stream, which is another impromptu one, very shortly. Let me just get ready here. Let's see. Okay, so, and the volume has to be low. Okay, great. So, this is another impromptu, unplanned, unscheduled, unannounced live stream. So once again, I apologize for this, but I hope you understand, and I hope you're well. So this is Daisuke, and I am talking to you from Tokyo, Japan. This is now what? It's now around 11:20 p.m. It is now December 30th. So tomorrow will be December 31st. Tomorrow will be New Year's Eve. And so I will be leaving town for my little vacation. I usually take time off from work during the New Year's holiday, and I'll have a week off usually. And so tomorrow I will be leaving Tokyo just for a little trip up north, and that's where I will be meeting my family, who have already gone ahead and are already up there, but I will be joining them in tomorrow morning. So today is my last evening here in Tokyo, and so I thought I would just take the opportunity to say hello and say goodbye. It's not a permanent goodbye, of course. It is just a temporary one. And also I wanted to say thank you very much to all of you who have joined this channel, who have commented. Thank you very much for just stopping by and always giving me suggestions and recommendations and the like. So I wanted to thank you very much for that. And also I wanted to hear from you to see what kinds of films you might be planning to watch for New Year's. I don't know if there are any special New Year's plans that you have regarding maybe going to the movie theater or watching something at home with your family or friends, or if so, what special film plans you might have. That would be something that is I would very much look forward to listening to, and just hearing what it is you have planned. But in any event, my friends, I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you and to say hello, and to be just let you know that I really appreciated your time and your efforts and energy over this year 2019, and I look forward to more conversations with you in the new year 2020. So thank you very much. And with that, my friends, let me just say yes. So Liam is here. Hello, Liam. I hope you're well. Dan Moden is here. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Isaac, my dear friend Isaac is here. Hello. Holiday season's greetings. Yes, that's nice to see you. And John Petrovich is here. Happy New Year. Likewise, my friend. Luca Martignoni is here. Hello, how are you? And you ask, what's your favorite film of the year? Mine's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I'm planning to rewatch Glass and Ad Astra. Oh, that's a good question. And I should say that I have not seen many new films during this year 2019. I've mentioned it every so often over the course of some videos here on this channel, but I am very poor when it comes to watching new movies, new releases. I rarely have a chance to go out to the theater and watch new releases, and that's partially due to my own work schedule and family schedule, but also the release schedule in Japan tends to be a little bit different oftentimes. And so oftentimes where you have a new release that is made in North America, for example, it might take some time before that same film will get a release here in Tokyo. And so whenever there is discussion online about a particular release in the United States that is getting a lot of critical buzz, for example, I won't have a chance to see it until maybe some months later. That's just the way things are. It's not true for all films, of course, but it's true for a good number of them. For example, there's the film Parasite, and the film Parasite has not yet been released here in theaters, at least as far as I can tell, in Japan. I think it's planned to be released in Tokyo in select theaters in January 2020, and so I have yet to see the film, which is just my long-winded way of saying I don't necessarily have a strong enough knowledge base to say what is my favorite film that was released in 2019, because I've seen so few. I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I just was very lucky to be able to acquire the Blu-ray of that. And I must say that I enjoyed that film very much, although I do have, there are certain issues with the film that I have that make the film quite fascinating and somewhat challenging for me. I also admit that I haven't seen the film enough to feel comfortable talking about it at length, although I have seen it already twice, and I think both times I found it a very fulfilling experience. And I feel like Tarantino is doing something striking and different from his earlier filmography, albeit I do acknowledge also that there are some similarities between this film and his earlier works. But you mentioned Glass and Ad Astra, so I've heard of these films, and I know generally what they are, but I haven't had a chance to see them. I know of Glass because of some other works, I know the other works, the other films with which Glass is connected, and I also have heard of Ad Astra, and I know kind of what the critical reaction was, but I haven't yet seen the film directly, so I really can't make any comment about that. That also is true for when the awards season rolls around. I usually have no ability to comment directly on Academy Awards and who will win Best Picture or anything like that, because I'm never able to watch all of the Best Picture nominees or something within a given year. It's just it's not possible for me, and so I usually am a passive observer when it comes to that. I suppose if I were to talk about, let's say, Criterion Collection releases that were made in 2019, I just uploaded a video talking about my favorite Criterion releases from 2019. It was actually it was more than one video, I just finished uploading the eighth video out of 8 videos. And that last video was where I was talking about my favorite overall Criterion release from 2019. I know it's not a contemporary release, but it's in terms of the initial release in theaters. But it was a Criterion release in 2019. So if you're interested in that, you can of course check that out. It's just been uploaded. So let's see. Dan Moden says, gonna watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood tonight on Blu-ray. Okay, I hope you enjoy it, my friend. And please let us know what you think. And Andre, hello, it's nice to see you. Cine Arts, our dear friend, season's greetings, Daisuke. Let's hope next year is great for us all. It has been great getting to know you, my friend. Take care. Likewise, Cine Arts. Happy New Year. If I don't see you, Happy New Year, and I look forward to talking and having more conversations in the year 2020. Luca says, Parasite is amazing. You know, I have been receiving a lot of recommendations from people through this YouTube channel over the course of the past several months. Many films have been recommended to me by people, but I think I could say, thinking back, collectively, I think the film that I was recommended the most is probably the film Parasite. I think more people mentioned that to me than with respect to any other film, actually. So I am, of course, incredibly intrigued. I've already heard pretty much the buzz about this. There are also some dear friends of mine here in Tokyo who were able to see the film abroad. So they came back and they just were raving about it. It was one of the most incredible films they had seen, they told me. And so I'm looking forward to this very much, very, very much. And so I can't wait to see it. And John Petrovich says, important, Cats comes out 1/24 in Japan. Well, thank you very much for that information. So January 24th. You know, I've sort of caught a little bit of the discussion about this particular film, Cats, and so I must say that I'm actually a very big fan of the musical Cats, and I took my daughter to see the musical Cats when we were visiting New York a few years ago, and she enjoyed it very much. I was able to get front row seats, and it was great. And Rum Tum Tugger came in and he took a picture with us, and so we were able to get on her picture was on the Rum Tum Tugger Instagram account, and so she was really excited about that. But what was it? Yeah, so the film Cats, I've heard some pretty interesting things about this film. But you know, I'm a fan of the show. I like the songs, and you know, I think it's really great, and you know, it's been around since as far as back as I can remember, actually, and so I'll reserve judgment until I'm able to see the film, but. Yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see. Although I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to see it in the theater. Maybe it'll be something I'll try to catch after it's released, maybe on a Blu-ray or something like that, or if it's playing on television. Let's see, Dan Moden says, when you get a new Criterion release in the mail, do you always watch the supplements after you watch the movie? Oh, that's a good question. And the answer to that is yes. Yes, I watch. I try to watch everything through as soon after it arrives in the mail. I don't watch it that day, but I try to watch everything once through. And the reason why I do that is because this stuff takes time for me. I need time to work with it and to settle down with it. So, but I like to watch things on more than one occasion because I can't catch everything in one sitting. So I have to watch something, including supplements, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times just to get a feel for what is being said and to absorb everything as much as possible. And sometimes I might even have to take notes. And so I don't want to miss. I want to be able to catch as much as possible. And so I find that I want to be able to watch something, as many of the supplements as possible, and then give it a little bit of time and then return to it. And so I'll be able to practice my try to recall what I saw in my initial sitting versus what I try to pick up that's new in my second sitting, and that sort of thing. So it's a pretty drawn out process for me in terms of watching a film and watching the supplements and then putting it aside, letting it breathe, and then returning to it, and then putting it aside, letting it breathe, and then returning to it again. It's overall for me, that's a process that I'm most comfortable with when it comes to home media releases. And so there's that. I'm actually in the process of doing that with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You know, I've seen it already a number of times, and the Blu-ray has a pretty decent set of supplements, but I watch it and then watch the supplements and then set it aside, and I'll watch it again, and then I've set it aside. So maybe I'll wait a couple more days before I watch it again. But I do feel that way about. I feel like I want to watch the supplements as soon as it arrives, and in order to be able to appreciate the supplements, I need to have seen the film again, so it's fresh in my mind. So I always try to make time to watch something when it arrives in the mail, either that day or maybe the weekend or something. So it's always a very exciting time, but. Yeah, and then there's also the issue of commentary track. So I'll try to watch the film with the commentary track, maybe in the second sitting. And if I need to refer back to the commentary track, I'll then watch the film again in the third sitting, and maybe more sittings if necessary. But that's generally how I do it. I don't, in other words, I don't like to talk about a film if I've just seen it once. I feel like I am incapable of being able to talk about a film just seeing it once, and I really want to be as prepared and have been exposed to it as much as possible. So I hope that answers your question, Dan. It's a great question. Wolfgratz, our dear friend, is here. I just was watching video number 8 in the 2019 favorites. Thank you very much, my friend. I just put that up. So that's another Blu-ray on my buy list. Cloud Cap Star, that is. I have the others. Oh, great, great. Yes, I've spoken a lot about that film, and it means a lot. So the more people that see that film, the happier I will be. I hope you enjoy it, my friend. Luca says, this last year I discovered Antonioni's films. I loved L'Avventura and La Notte. Do you have a favorite of his filmography? Let's see, Antonioni. I really love L'Avventura. I especially love La Notte and L'Eclisse. So you said you've seen L'Avventura and La Notte. So the next film you probably, it might be good for you to watch, might be interesting for you to watch, would be the film L'Eclisse. That's also available in the Criterion Collection if you're interested. And then there's Red Desert, and then there's Blow Up. So I would, yeah, those probably would be where I would suggest. And if you enjoyed L'Avventura and if you enjoyed La Notte, then you will certainly enjoy L'Eclisse and Red Desert. So I hope you enjoy your continuing Antonioni journey. It's a really great one. I haven't had a chance to speak about Antonioni on this YouTube channel. I hope that changes. I really do want to speak about his works, at least in the context of how they appear in the Criterion Collection, because his films are very dense, and they're so worth it. Very rich in a kind of a negative space kind of way. I don't know if that makes any sense, but he uses negative space in a very captivating way, and I've always wanted to talk about that, at least how I feel about it. But maybe, I don't know, maybe that might be something to consider for 2020. But Billis, hello. Hello, Daisuke. What films are you looking forward to most in the new year? That's a good question. I think for me, it'll probably be, at least in January, watching the film Parasite. The film has not yet been released here in Japan. It's going to get released in January, and so, and I'm looking forward to that immensely, because I have heard so much about that film from so many people that I'm just eagerly anticipating that film. Yes, so I think that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. But we'll see. I don't know what else is 2020. Oh, you know what else I just saw? I just saw the trailer for the Christopher Nolan film Tenet, right? Which I thought was great. That was such a great trailer. I have no idea what's going on in that trailer. Absolutely no idea what's going on in the trailer, but it's so cool. And there's that great pulsating rhythm of the music and all that. So I thought that was really great. So I guess I'm looking forward to that as well. That's in 2020 as well, right? So something to look forward to. Let's see, miscellaneous rubbish. Hello, Monos was my film of the year. Oh, great, great. Thank you very much. Folgers and Ashes. Hello, hello. How are you? Alan Fang. Hey, Daisuke. I'm sure you've seen Tokyo Story. Yes, I have. Many, many times. I've just watched it for the first time. What are your thoughts on it? Can you give insight into what the Criterion Collection version comes with? Thanks. I can't go into too much detail about it, but the Criterion release is a great release. It's a Blu-ray, and it's probably one of the most iconic films of the works of Yasujiro Ozu, and it comes at a very peculiar and interesting moment in Japanese history. And so, I'm just not talking about Japanese cinema history, but also Japanese history in general. And so, there's that. I think it's a great work. As I say, I can't necessarily I haven't prepared anything as far as a review of Tokyo Story, the Blu-ray, but there is information. You can find information about the Criterion Blu-ray on the Criterion website if you're interested. And but the film itself is really great. And if you haven't gotten the Criterion Blu-ray, I would recommend getting it if you are interested in exploring Ozu and Tokyo Story, because that has a lot of great information and material. Anyway, I hope that helps. So, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it, actually, and if so, I'm glad. Ole Christensen, hello, my dear friend. Let's see. Sorry, I just lost my... Here we go. Hello, Daisuke. Happy New Year, my friend. Happy New Year to you, too. I'm going through the Hammer box sets. Oh, those are great. Those are really great. Do you have these, and what do you think of them? Yes, those are really great. I enjoy those very much. Those are... gosh, you've got to let me know what you think of those when you're finished. Dinobot Kiryu, hope you're doing well. What time is it there? It is 8:41 here in the mid-US. Here it is now 11:43 p.m. on December 30th. Let's see. Lucas says, I watched 13 of Antonioni's films. Haha. Blow Up. It's amazing, of course. And also one of his first, La Signora Senza Camilli, incredible story about cinema, political correctness. Very actual indeed. Wow, you are a true Antonioni expert. Well done. John Petrovich, 11:40ish here. Yes, 11:40. So are you in Tokyo as well? Maybe. If so, that's great. 11:40, maybe 11:40ish a.m. Because it's 11:40ish p.m. here. Johnny Fuerte says 7:42 a.m. in Phoenix, Arizona. I've always wanted to visit Phoenix. I've never had the opportunity. I've never been fortunate enough to visit Phoenix, but maybe one day. Billa says, wow, we don't get Parasite in the UK until February 7th. Oh, you get it later than we do in Japan, but not that much later. So there's a little bit of delay, but it's not too significant. So let's see. Alex Chia says, hi, Daisuke. I have recently become a fan of your videos and thoroughly enjoy listening to you talk about your collection. Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Difficult question. What's your favorite Miyazaki film? Miyazaki? So you're asking me about a Miyazaki film instead of asking me about a Ghibli film, right? So to answer the question about my favorite Miyazaki film, Hayao Miyazaki film, my personal favorite is, what's the English title? Kiki's Delivery Service. That's my personal favorite. I really love that film, and that's an interesting film for me because I watched it when I was still young enough to appreciate the film I mean, I wasn't the same age exactly as Kiki and Tombo and all those kids there, but I was kind of close enough in age to be able to identify with the kids' story. But now I'm older and I have kids of my own, and my younger daughter is actually getting close to Kiki's age as she was in the film. I'm feeling like I'm the father. I feel closer to the father than I do to the Kiki role. And in fact, I think I'm looking at myself as I'm being projected on the iPhone screen here. I think I actually look a little bit like the dad that appeared in Kiki's Delivery Service. It wasn't meant, I didn't mean it on purpose. It's completely coincidental. But I think that this visual similarity is suggestive also of the fact that I'm finding myself identify with the father and his relationship with his young daughter. And so in that sense, it really becomes such a moving film for me. I think it's a film that it feels like the first part of a series that never was. I don't know if that makes sense, but it feels like it's a great opening episode of a longer series, I suppose. And I would have loved to have seen more films from that universe, but I know they weren't necessarily planned, of course, but I would love to see those characters in that world. But even if we just get that, even if we just have this one film, Kiki's Delivery Service, I think it's really, really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Let's see. Okay. Dinobot Curious says, since I'm kind of new to your channel, do you have a video talking the first ever Criterion sets made? I've seen ones as early as 2004. I don't have a video. Are you asking about the first Criterion sets? Let's see, the first, I guess if you want to talk about early stuff, I do have some videos talking about Laserdiscs, actually, going back. If you want to go way, way back, I have some videos talking about Laserdiscs. I do have some videos about OOP stuff, some box sets, but I haven't gone through all of my box sets. I haven't made videos about every aspect of my Criterion collection. So, but I haven't talked about all the box sets that I have, but I think I have all of them that I understand exist. There might be some gaps that I'm unaware of, but I also have talked about, or at least I've shown the general catalog of the Laserdiscs, which, if you want to talk about the really first beginnings of the Criterion collection, you can go to the Laserdiscs. But I hope that helps. Let's see. I guess I'm not a how should I put it? I have a number of Criterion videos, but I don't have videos on every aspect of the Criterion collection, unfortunately. It might be something to try to endeavor to do in the new year, but it's always an issue of time, right? So much to do, so little time. Let's see, continuing here. Luca says, what do you think about Scorsese saying that Marvel movies aren't cinema? I actually, I don't really, I knew about that issue, and I didn't really have any strong opinion about it either way, simply because I don't know Marvel cinema. I call it cinema, right? I don't know Marvel cinema that well anyway. I've only seen a handful, and so I can't really say either way about that. And I kind of got a sense of what Scorsese was trying to say, and so giving him the benefit of the doubt, I think what he was trying to say was something slightly different from what was actually said. And I think he's gone to try to kind of correct what it was that he was going to say. So to me, it wasn't. I really didn't get. I wasn't how should I put it? I I didn't think it was, for me anyway, something that I was that concerned about, necessarily. I suppose there is a kind of spectacle element to cinema, and to modern day entertainment. Last week I watched the film Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know if you've heard of this, but I thought that was that felt like in many respects it felt like a ride in a theme park. And I'm not saying that in a disparaging way, but it did feel like there were jolts. But it's like, I have many issues with that film, and the more I think about it, the more I'm not that big of a fan of that film. But I guess my point is that it is an experience like that. And I don't necessarily think that it's in any way a negation of what cinema is, because we've seen this kind of spectacle cinema in the past before. You want to talk about spectacle cinema. Titanic, I think, is an example. Ben-Hur, I think, is an example. I think Lawrence of Arabia, I think, is also a great example of that. And no one says or no one questions whether that is cinema or not. And so I think, and I'm not saying that everything is all equal. I'm just saying as a type of general approach, spectacle cinema. And then you have to look at that, and then you have to evaluate the films on their own merits. And so I guess I'm just kind of getting carried away with myself. But my point is that I didn't quite mind the comments so much from Scorsese. I suppose I wasn't really that worked up by it, but I understand the concerns that people had at the time. Billa says, "My Neighbor Totoro, although Laputa and Kiki are both wonderful as well." Oh yes, Totoro. That's a great one. Dinobot Curious asks, "Do you think the Godzilla Showa set didn't have the classic Meteor Tokyo Shock special features because of rights?" Yes, I think so. I don't know. There's an interesting, actually, that's an interesting thing. I didn't mention it, but I don't know if you know this, but the Godzilla Criterion Blu-ray. I'm not talking about the Showa set. I'm talking about the individual Criterion Blu-ray that was made, several years back, that has Godzilla and also Godzilla King of the Monsters. That actually has an interesting copyright notice on one of the back pages of the booklet. If you have the Blu-ray, you should take a look. In my copy, anyway, it says, it makes reference to classic media. Actually, hold on a minute. Let me just get that from the shelf, if you don't mind, because I think it's really interesting. Just give me 1 second. Excuse me. Oh. I'll be right back, so just give me 1 second here. Okay. Let's see. Oh, where's Godzilla? Here it is. And I'm back. So, there we go. Can you hear me okay? So I didn't mention this before, but this is the Godzilla Blu-ray that I have, spine number 594. And you take it out of the little digipack here, and I'll open it up, and I'll get the booklet, which is inside here, right there. And I'll open it up to page, well, it doesn't have page numbers here, but it's that page right there. And it says acknowledgements, right? There's an acknowledgement section, and it says right here, any views, and it's small print, so I'll read it out to you and let you know what it says. Any views or opinions expressed in the commentaries and or interviews are solely those of the individuals providing them and do not represent the views or opinions of Classic Media Inc., Toho Company Limited, their parents, or any of their affiliates or employees. So this is interesting because the Godzilla Blu-ray makes reference to Classic Media Inc. That's interesting because, as those of you who know the Classic Media releases will know, the commentary for the commentary track for Godzilla and the commentary track for Godzilla King of the Monsters is they're both offered by David Callett. And as far as I recall, David Callett does not provide a commentary track for Godzilla or Godzilla King of the Monsters, right? He does provide a commentary track for, I think it's, what is it, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, but he doesn't provide one for Godzilla, at least individually. So his commentary tracks that appear on the Criterion Collection release are only for the Criterion Collection. And also, as far as I'm aware, none of the supplements are carried over from the Classic Media releases. I could be mistaken about that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. If so, it's curious as to why Classic Media is mentioned that way as it is, because that kind of mentioning here would be appropriate if it was Classic Media that was releasing this, but it's Criterion, right? So it would have made more sense if it said Criterion. And in fact, if we go to the Showa era set here, which also has Godzilla and Godzilla King of the Monsters, and we go to the page where it has the special thanks and about and all that stuff, and we see the corresponding section, the section that corresponds to the part that I just read from the Godzilla Blu-ray. Let's see here. It says, here you go. Yes, any views or opinions. Yeah, it's actually right here. Right over here. Just above the Universal logo. And it says, any views or opinions expressed in the commentaries and or interviews are solely those of the individuals providing them and do not represent the views of Toho Company Limited, its parents, or any of its affiliates or employees. So it's very interesting that the word Classic Media Limited, which appeared in this, was removed for this Godzilla Showa era release. My suspicion is that this was probably an error on the Criterion printing team's part, perhaps, because I don't see any correlation directly between this release and any Classic Media release, but it's probably just a typo or an error that was remedied when it came time to make a similar type of disclaimer language for the Showa era set. Although I could be mistaken, I haven't really explored it and researched that particular part of it that well. So if you have any information about that, please let me know. But going back to your question, I think, yes, it's a matter of rights, Classic Media. And also, it could be, it could, I can't be too sure about this, but it also could be a matter of the licensor, the Toho side of things. You know, you might know this, but it's well, I don't want to actually get too into it. Let me just say it is probably to do with rights issues more than anything else. It usually is the case with that. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, I lost my place here. John Petrovich says, you're in Okinawa on vacation. Oh, well, I hope you're enjoying your time in Okinawa. That's great. And Wolfgrat says, Kiki is such a lovely film. It may not be objectively the best, but it is my favorite. That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, I like that. Blake, hello. Johnny Fuerte says, I just watched Hapon last night and was blown away. Yes, I highly recommend beautifully shot in 16mm cinemas. Yes, Hapon is one of the great releases from 2019 from the Criterion Collection. Really, really great. John Petrovich, as a resident of Tokyo, which films do you think best capture the spirit of the city? And that's a really good question, and I don't know. I haven't really thought about it because Tokyo is so vast and varied. Every pocket of the city seems different from each other, if you know what I mean. So that's hard for me to say. There are some TV shows that maybe capture the spirit of it, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, maybe I'll have to get back to you on that one, but yeah, there's so many, and it's pretty. That's a good question though. Really, really good. Alex Chia says, thanks, Criterion doesn't distribute to Australia. Oh, that's too bad. Criterion doesn't make any direct shipments or sell in Japan either, so I always have to make my orders through Amazon US. Let's see, Alan Fang says, thanks, Dice. I did enjoy. You're talking about Tokyo Story, I think. Really beautiful, full of flawed or damaged characters. Of the Asian cinema I've delved into. Bong Joon-ho's mother is devastating to me. And you say Happy New Year. So Happy New Year. Oh, it's great. And Dinobot Q says, just want to say the means you present your information towards the viewer is much like my 10th grade art teacher, as in you much like he did on making the content seem exciting. Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. I had what was it? Was it in 10th grade? It was in high school, yes. My art teacher that I had in high school, he was also the cross-country coach, and he was also the tennis coach. And so he was a really nice guy, so I liked him very much. And he was also very, very encouraging to me as well when I was in high school, because he encouraged me, and I was making short videos at the time, and I had aspirations of becoming a filmmaker at the time. This was when I was in high school, but he was very encouraging for me. But that's a very generous compliment that you give me. So thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Dungeon Studio, hello. It's nice to see you. I hope you're well. Happy New Year. Lucas says, thoughts on Avatar by James Gray. Yeah, I like it, but I haven't seen it in some time. And Dinobot Curious says, would you say Rise of Skywalker is the final wars of Star Wars? Yeah. Well, I like Final Wars very much, and I've seen Rise of Skywalker only once, and so maybe I have to give it another chance. But I'm I really hope that people who enjoyed it really enjoyed it, and I think I've heard a lot of people who they really love the film, and I'm so happy that people love the film. Unfortunately, I can't share that particular opinion when it comes to my own viewing of the film, unfortunately. But I don't go so far to think that it has, what is it, like, it hasn't ruined Star Wars for me, or it hasn't ruined my enjoyment of the earlier films. But I do have some questions, some fundamental questions about this Disney era of Star Wars and these stories that they're telling. I really have some fundamental questions about it, and I think it all stems. Actually, my biggest critique, perhaps, of the trilogy is not how not necessarily how the filmmakers treated the character of Luke Skywalker. It's not necessarily the character of Rey or Kylo Ren or anything like that. I actually find those characters very interesting. I really would have liked to have seen a different approach to the character of Princess Leia. I thought that Princess Leia was set up quite beautifully at the beginning of The Force Awakens, actually. And so there was a great setup for the character, because she was in a very precarious position emotionally, because and her position, I thought, resembled and mirrored quite neatly that of Darth Vader in the original trilogy. And so I thought there could have been a lot of room for complex exploration of the Princess Leia, or General Leia character, I suppose, the Leia character, and her relationship with Luke, and how it could have evolved or devolved or something like that. Wow, if something happened to her and her character, maybe falling to the dark side, perhaps, and it's up to Luke and Kylo Ren, right, to save her or something like that. Much like mirroring the Anakin Skywalker story. I thought that would have been really interesting. Uh, but um, but yeah, maybe that's a discussion for another day, perhaps. But oh well. Let's see. Um, let's see. Okay, It's already after midnight, so um, I'm just gonna skip around here. If I skip your comment, I apologize, but it is getting a little bit late, and I do have to wake up early tomorrow because I'm going to be leaving tomorrow. But let's see. Just skipping around. If I skip your comment, I really apologize. Let's see. Oh gosh. Oh wow. Thank you, Luca. That's wow, Luca. You say, like I said to you on Instagram, you are a very kind person, and it's great to have this kind people making videos and this live streams. It feels like you're talking to a friend. So thank you very much. That's really kind of you. Yeah. Dynamite Gear says, how much do you think it would be in Japanese yen to make if Final Wars was made with literally every Godzilla monster from every film up to monster? That's a very interesting thought experiment. I never thought about that, how much it would cost, but that's interesting. Mr. Sirigus, hi Daisuke. I was wondering if you have seen Uncut Gems. No, I haven't. Again, the release the release schedule of films in North America doesn't necessarily correspond to release schedule here in Japan, and so I don't think that's been released here in Japan. I've heard many great things about it already. I'm very curious about it, and oops, I got lost here. So, but I'm very curious about it, and I've heard a lot of excellent things. So, and so. Yeah, I really want to see that, but again, I don't know when it's going to be here in Japan. Omni says, Daisuke, my package came in damaged, and I emailed Criterion for a replacement case, but so far there hasn't been a response. I'm wondering if you ever emailed them for replacement cases. Happy holidays. Oh, no, I've never emailed them for replacement cases. I did email them once. I never got a response, actually. I emailed them because I had a DVD of Mr. Arkadin, and one of the discs was fundamentally flawed. There was a moment where every time it reached a particular chapter on the DVD disc, it would stall and it would skip, and there was no blemish or scratch on the underside of the disc. So it was something that was a fundamental flaw in the disc itself, and so I thought it was appropriate to contact Criterion, but they never got back to me as well. So to be perfectly honest, I don't usually contact Criterion directly because I don't expect to get a response from them anyway, because I've never had any good experience with that line, actually. So as much as I love Criterion, I'm not really a fan of their customer support, at least in terms of my own personal experience. But I think that's maybe a story for another day if you're interested. But yeah, I mean, I hope you are able to get replacement cases okay. I can understand when you say you received something that was damaged in the mail. I really don't like when that happens, but it happens. I got some items that were damaged in the mail, not so many times. So I've been pretty fortunate, but every once in a while, that's for sure. Let's see here. Again, I apologize for skipping around. If I skipped your comment, I apologize. Let's see, and okay, Dinobot Kiryu, not sure if you've seen Jurassic Park. Yes, I saw Jurassic Park in the theater when it was released. I still remember the first time I saw the trailer to Jurassic Park. And I was so excited for that trailer. You know, it was the trailer that used the music. What was it? The music to the film. You know, the film Backdraft, the Ron Howard film Backdraft about the firefighters. And it used that great music, the dun 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 music, and that music was then applied to the first trailer for Jurassic Park, which was such a great trailer. I still remember that. I think, in many ways, I thought that that trailer was, in many ways, more exciting than the film itself. And I thought the film was really exciting. Don't get me wrong, but there was something so magical about that trailer. I loved it, and. Yeah. So I saw that in the theater when it was first released, and that was a fun time, really fun time. All right, so okay. I'm gonna try to catch. Okay, so Mr. Fish, glad to see your rise in 2019. Been watching your posts since LD forever. Oh wow, yes, LD forever. You know, I owe the LDF group my eternal thanks, and I never ever forget that. You know, I owe I am so grateful to the LDF group members, and maybe for those of you who don't know what LDF is, please just ignore what I'm saying. But those of you who know LDF, you'll know exactly what I'm saying, and I'm so grateful because that's in many ways that's where I first became kind of active online. You know, I didn't join Facebook until a couple years ago. I didn't start this YouTube thing actively until a couple years ago. And one of the reasons why I started this YouTube video channel was because I actually, before YouTube, I was doing a little bit of video posts on Facebook, and there was a Laserdisc related group that I joined, and everyone was so friendly there. And you know, I'm so sorry I haven't been able to visit recently. Just you know how things are sometimes. You want to do something, but some other things occupy your time, and so you can't do everything that you want to do. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to visit the group as often as I used to. But I don't ever forget that. The encouragement that people gave me, everyone was so kind and very warm, and so that really helped me a lot. And I think without that, I wouldn't have this YouTube channel. It's very simple. I think without LDF, I wouldn't be here, and I acknowledge that. There have been many people, of course, also along the way who have been very supportive and been very encouraging. During the early days when there was I was just doing these random uploads on this YouTube channel. So, but there are people from the early days who were very encouraging, and there's also our dear friend Melinda, who has sometimes visited here. You know, she was one of the first people who actually asked me to make videos about a particular Laserdisc title. It was Brazil CLV, and so that started kind of a YouTube video thing that ended up to where I am here. And you know, I have to thank people like Sam Hatch as well. You know, Culture Dog. I don't know if you know the channel Culture Dog, but you know, I owe I'm eternally grateful to people like Sam Hatch at Culture Dog, because he mentioned me by name before he even knew me. I think I was just making videos about the Criterion Collection Laserdiscs, but you know, my knowledge about Criterion Laserdiscs, it pales in comparison to his. And you know, he's a kind of a juggernaut. He is one of the leading thinkers, if you will, of the Laserdisc community, and of that tech community, and he's one of the most intelligent people I've ever come across. His channel is great. He's one of my YouTube heroes, Culture Dog, and he mentioned me by name, and so I was so taken by that, and so I think without that I wouldn't be here. And so people like Melinda and Sam, and also the great people at LDF. I'm eternally grateful, and I'm my YouTube channel. I'm so grateful for all the support. But I'm the first to admit that it's just it's just me talking to my iPhone, and so I'm I guess I'm very humbled by this, because I wasn't necessarily expecting this kind of scrutiny, I suppose. I'm very grateful for it, and it's given me a great opportunity to meet a lot of people, of course, but I really wasn't expecting this at all. But the reason why I try to keep going is because I'm always encouraged by so many great people, among which are the people at the LDF group, and I will never forget that, and I'm very, very grateful, and I continue to be grateful to everyone there. So if you are here and you are in the LDF group, just know that I hope you're well, and you have my eternal thanks, because again, I'll say it again, without that I wouldn't be here. So and on this YouTube channel, I certainly wouldn't be making videos on YouTube, that's for sure. So thank you so much for that. Now, thank you very much for mentioning LDF. That really warms my heart, really does. And let's see here. So it's getting late, I'm afraid. So I'm skipping many comments and questions here. So if I've skipped your comment or question, I sincerely apologize. I get this way after maybe around midnight. My mind starts to get a little bit sleepy. So, I'm starting to feel it. So I'm probably gonna have to wind down a bit. I'll try a couple more. Oh, Matt Swick says, hello, Daisuke. A while ago, you had recommended I watch Persona. Ah, yes, Bergman's Persona. Being that I love Three Women, I meant to tell you Persona was one of the films I picked up in July. I loved it as well. Great. Yes, Three Women in Persona. Now that is, compare and contrast Three Women in Persona. That's a great essay topic, if ever there was one. So I'm glad to hear that about Persona. I'm really glad. Mr. Fish says, can 100% recommend Uncut Gems. I even think they reference Punch Drunk Love with an exact replica of his blue suit. Interesting. I'm looking forward to that film even more now. Oh, that's great. Okay, I'm just skipping around here. Sorry about this. Let's see. Mr. Fish says, LDF can be fairly toxic, so I don't spend a lot of time there anymore, but I too owe it a lot in terms of my Criterion LD collection and player knowledge and repair. Yeah, so I don't know what the situation is right now, so I haven't been there in a while, but as I said, I still know a number of people who I think are still members of the group, and I mean, there's so many people. It's such a large group, and that's so many voices in a group sometimes. So, I don't claim to know everyone in that group, and I don't claim to know everyone in the group when I was still active in that group, but. Those that I befriended are really great people, and they know what they're doing. And I love that too, because they have a common love for physical media that doesn't always get all the attention that it really deserves, especially now, right? Which is the Laserdisc format. So that I respect that 100%. 100%. So and so. I am like that. So, okay, my friends. Oh, Thomas Wilke is here. Hello, Thomas. I hope you're well. Sorry for Joshua Holloway is here as well. Thank you very much for stopping by again. I apologize for not being able to talk with you more. I really am sorry about this. I have to work on my time management skills. That's for sure. Let's see. RL Monkey 13 is also here. Yes, hello. Oh gosh, I'd love to talk about Hugo. Um, oh gosh, I really have to go soon, but maybe another time perhaps I can talk about Hugo. But I have some interest. Not interesting. My thoughts aren't interesting. I think the film is interesting. Let me correct myself. And JR62 is here. Hello, my friend. It's nice to see you. All right, so. Again, I apologize for skipping comments and questions. If I've ignored your comment or question, it's not on purpose, but it's just because I am not necessarily, I'm not, I can't even think straight anymore. I'm getting a little bit sleepy. So I will just start this, I will wind down this live stream and say thank you very much for joining. Again, I apologize for this random nature of this. I hope you don't mind. And so I just want to say thank you very much again, my friends, for joining and just stopping by. It's always nice to see you and just to talk with you. And I hope you're doing well, my friends. As always, it's the end of the new year, and so sometimes, I don't know, things can get busy. Sometimes things might get a little bit hectic. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe things will be quiet. Maybe things will be calm, or somewhere in between. Who knows? But whatever the case may be, just take good care of yourselves. Really, really take good care of yourselves, and enjoy your time. Seize the day, carpe diem, and hopefully by seizing the day, you'll be able to catch a number of good films along the way. And if that's the case, my friends, please let me know. I'm always in the mood to hear what films you've seen lately, and in particular, any films that you plan to see for the new year, maybe to end 2019 or to start 2020. That's sometimes a big deal. It certainly is a big deal for me. What film will I watch to end 2019, and what film will I watch to start 2020? There's something quite special about that, I suppose. But if you're, that would be something interesting to listen to. And so with that, my friends, thank you very much for your time and your comments. It's been really great talking with you. And once again, please accept my apologies if I skipped over your comment. I didn't get a chance to talk to you as much as I would have otherwise liked to. So I hope you can understand. And we'll have to talk again. So we'll see each other very soon, hopefully very soon in the year 2020. So if I don't talk to you again, my friends, please have a great, happy new year, and have a wonderful start to 2020. I will be seeing you very soon. So until then, my friends, be well and cheers. Bye-bye. Okay. All right. I'm done. So I will actually, I have to, there's one more video that I have to upload to this channel, and then I will be done for the year. So it's been a great year. Thank you very much. And thank you to all of you for your time. I really appreciate it. But now I have to get ready for bed. So anyway, cheers, and see you soon, my friends. And once again, Happy New Year. All right. Let's see. Happy New Year, my friends.